welcome or welcome back to Life on the Franch. Today we are asking the question, what the heck is this? This is the Pick Your Party, Yes There Are More Than Two, Wheel o' Wisdom. We're staying in an Airbnb, and one of the things they advertised was that they had lots of board games, which they did, and we did play a number of them. But among the board games, there was this, Wheel o' Wisdom, which is an attempt to describe the various political parties in the United States circa, we think, 2007. So what they do is that you point your little arrow to the party, then it'll tell you the potential upsides of voting for that party, the downsides, the history, and the platform. And then they give you how many people they think are part of that party, and also a bumper sticker from that party. And I actually really like this tool. I just can't figure out who it's for. For what age is this made? Is it for adults? Is it for kids? What do you do with this outside of a history classroom? Because that's not where we found it. But the thing that made me want to make a video about it is because the upsides and downsides are hilarious for a number of these parties. The parties they've chosen don't make a lot of sense. There's stuff that's missing clearly from the current discussion. And I also thought it was interesting because it is a snapshot. These are what they thought were the important minor parties of the US in 2007. So their descriptions are also based on that early 2000s political agenda, which is no longer really that relevant to national policy.
For example, the Iraq War, for some reason, shows up several times.
All over this thing. And I'm that was not a huge part of the Trump campaigns, which obviously came after this. So
right.
It's just a cool snapshot, but it's also very funny, but it also doesn't make any sense. And it was also made in China. The other thing that's really weird about this is the passive aggressiveness of this. So even the title, Pick Your Party, yes, there are more than two. Yeah, sure, there's more than two, but it's stupid in some ways to talk about, for example, the American Heritage Party, which only has 9,200 people by their own estimate in the entirety of the United States. We operate basically as a two-party system. So
versus what the Democrats have, how many people? It doesn't even fit in that.
56 million-ish, according to this.
Right.
One of this has 88. The Prohibition Party has 88.
They're still around today?
But that's what I'm saying. Some of these parties don't make sense. Obviously, Prohibition was a big thing, and so but then it's well, wouldn't this be the big historical political parties? But they don't have the Federalists, they don't have the Whigs, so it's clearly not meant to be historical, it's meant to be current political parties. But I just felt the title was sassy. And then the back, it says, the last sentence is, by outlining the 14 parties side by side, Pick Your Party seeks to arm you with the facts. Maybe now you'll actually vote. Who are you, my mom? And I'm a big, proponent of being politically active, but that's what I'm saying. Who is this made for? And then the warning is also sassy. It says, this wheel is intended for entertainment purposes only and is no substitute for actually being well informed. If you exercise your underutilized right to vote and elect the wrong individuals, we assume no liability for your choice, but will probably suffer nonetheless. Dude, just tell my children not to eat this, and that's all the warning needs to be. I want to go through, we'll do the two major parties and whatever they consider the Independence Party. And then I just want to go through some of the really funny ones that I think they made me smile. So we'll start with the Democrats, because if you can't laugh at yourself, you can't make jokes about other people. So the potential power upsides. Diplomacy saves lives ensures a new era of peace, middle class returns to the post-World War II levels, quality healthcare and education for all. Potential power downsides. Dovishness enables world takeover by Islamic fascists. Social Security bankrupted, regulations zap corporate strength.
There you go. There's the Iraq War influences.
Yeah. It's so funny. Like, I mean,
it's very tunnel vision.
It's very, like, focused. You'll see that with the Republicans as well. So let's go to the Republicans. You go spin the wheel. Potential power upsides. Terrorist surrender. Democratized Islamic world becomes huge new market. Social policies transform nation into Christian nuclear families. They're really putting it all out there. These Christian nuclear families. And remember, that's the upside, according to this wheel. The downsides. Never-ending war on terror strokes Islamic extremism. Rich get richer, poor get poorer. Global warming proceeds unfettered. I just think that, like, it's funny to see, like, the upsides be, like, the utopia of that party, and the downside just be absolute chaos.
And it's so current. It's just, well, current for 2007, where, like, that's not really, like, that's what the Republicans are focused on now, but I think there's kind of a philosophy behind the party too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, there is definitely, it's not that old where you can't see the through line.
Right.
It's just funny, you know. Their bumper sticker is, there's a reason we're called right, which I thought is kind of clever. The Democratic one is like something about Republicans being idiots. Yeah, vote Republican. It's easier than thinking. Which is also pretty good as a bumper sticker. The American Heritage Party, the whole thing is great. Again, I hadn't really heard of this political party before. So let's see what they could say. The upside is Christian values bring golden age of morality. After defeat of the Antichrist, Second Coming launches 1,000 years of peace and brotherhood.
Because the Antichrist is going to be settled in America.
Yeah, because that's where all of Christianity is, right? He was white.
Right.
Right?
Is the American Heritage Party a Mormon thing?
I don't know. There's 9,000 of them, ish. And then the downside, so we do get the Second Coming, but what are the problems? Theocracy replaces democracy, abolition of public schools, civil rights, wife legally subservient to husband. But we get the Second Coming of Jesus, so, I mean, that would get big views.
Antichrist down.
Socialist is pretty funny. So, on the flip side of the political spectrum, we have the socialists. The downside to socialism, according to this, is that the U.S. emulates Sweden with 60% income tax regulations, inhibiting job growth, welfare state, disco revival.
Oh no, the disco!
The disco! Yeah, I'm sorry, I don't find this to be that much of a downside. Hot take. Sweden does pretty well for itself. We could definitely be worse than emulating Sweden. Potential power upsides. Greedy fat cats kept in check. That's all I need to say about that one. It says more, but I just like that's the way they phrased it. Okay, so remember I said I don't know like who this is for age-wise? Because these are like, okay, maybe it's for like middle schoolers or high schoolers or something. Maybe it's for school. But then you go to the prohibition arguments. Upsides. Awakened from stupor, Americans shine with industrious sobriety. Marked reduction in crime, drunk driving, and regrettable one-night stands. Who is this for? I don't get it. And then my other question is, how did it end up in this Airbnb? Do they bust this out at dinner parties before the election? They're like, oh, who do I vote for? Let's spin the wheel. Like, I don't understand. I don't understand. So, if you understand Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Well, this is the one that I really thought, like, is this what we're teaching kids about libertarianism? So, the upside. Without the nanny state, and there's quotes on, I didn't make the quotes. It's in the wheel. Without the nanny state, newfound personal responsibility engenders respect for one another's rights. Pop for sale at 7-Eleven, no speed limits. So I just think I can't see them giving this to like middle schoolers in 2007. Like maybe middle schoolers today, but not like back then. That was when I was in school, and we definitely did not talk about pot at 7-Elevens back in my day. And then the downside is mass poverty without minimum wage and social programs. Unreined industry harms environment. Guns and cocaine don't mix. Which I think makes an excellent bumper sticker. Not for the libertarians, but for everybody else. Then they have the Independent Party. The upsides. Americans set aside conflict, making money together. Thriving small businesses drive economic surge. Prudent fiscal policy balances budget. The potential power upsides are basically what everybody wants. Like, nobody doesn't want prudent fiscal policy balances. It's just what does prudent mean? What is fiscally balanced? You know, what are the programs we're cutting versus which of the ones we're funding?
Here's my take. I think it was created by the Independence Party.
I mean, that could be the case too, but then it should say that. But whatever. The downsides for the Independent Party are pro wrestlers in office, politics less fun without inflammatory issues, moderation breeds ineffective governing. Which, like, to me, again, is a cop-out downside, because these are all, like, politics less fun without inflammatory issues. Nobody's, like, looking to I mean, politicians are trying to keep issues in debate, but it's not like people want it to be more fun, you know? So it's just a very, like, it's like when you go to a job interview and they're like, what's your weakness? And then you provide them like, oh, I'm just too productive. Oh, I just work too hard. That's what this downside is, according to the Pick Your Party people.
Again, I think it was made by the Independence Party. I think this whole idea of like, there are more than two comes from a place of bitterness where the Independence Party is so frustrated with them being so, like, they're the next biggest one, right? On the wheel.
75,000. The Green Party, no.
The Green Party's bigger.
With almost 400,000. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more of our content, click subscribe, ding the bell button to know when we post. Most importantly, I hope you have a wonderful day. I hope you vote.
Bye.